This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian.
Mission 250.
Welcome to the Mission 250. Well, first of all, Merry Christmas, boyos. Merry Christmas.
Oh,
Hey, Merry,
Boyos.
Merry
Boyos.
holiday thing.
Great.
Yeah.
You called me boyo. That means you're going to beat me up.
No, I'm going to shoot you, is what it means.
Yeah, or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble. I'm about to be like, I'm going to be hurting or dead. Thanks.
Or dead. Yes,
Yeah.
boyos. I am one of your boyos, Denny.
My other boyos joining me are.
Yeah, the other boyos here.
Yeah.
Boyo number
And,
one is,
Boyo John.
and then the other boyo number two is,
It's Terry Mulhern.
Mr. McMulhern and Mr. McKennedy.
He's a boyo, you see.
Mick Stricker? I don't think there was ever a Mick Stricker.
Detective Mick Stricker,
Yeah.
the boyo.
They called him the boyo.
They called him boyo. Right.
Yeah. This week we're watching we watched the best movies. I think I'm getting ahead of myself this week.
Yeah, that's
We watched
fair.
the best movies ever made. That's what we do. And this week we are newly in the top 100. We're watching number 97, which is the 1997 movie L.A. Confidential, directed by Curtis Hanson. The synopsis is: as corruption grows in 1950s Los Angeles, three policemen, one straight-laced, one brutal, and one sleazy, investigate a series of murders with their own brand of justice.
Mhm.
And
yeah.
this week, it is my turn to go first.
Yeah. All right, Denny. Go.
This movie is great. I saw
Yeah.
I think when I was much younger when it first came out. I remember watching it in high school, which is surprisingly just about 20 years
a long
ago.
time ago
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah, I know.
Uh,
I know.
I remember liking it
nuts.
then, but I think that I don't know if it's because of this podcast or just because I'm older. These noir movies with the name throwing around stuff is confusing. It was confusing to my younger mind. So even though I enjoyed what was going on the screen, I didn't get as much pleasure out of like the turns in the plot. But watching it now, this movie is really good in terms of putting like a natural plot out there, making you question what the movie's about, throwing you for a loop where thinking like one plot point that becomes the big plot point goes away, but then it comes back. And, halfway through the movie, I was watching this with Naomi. She was like, what is this movie about? I'm like, I
have
can't
no
remember.
idea.
I think it's
Yeah.
about like Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe's characters and how they interact with each other. So it might just all be setup of the city and all these characters up until this point. I don't really know. But then they start bringing back the night owl murders and things like that. And then you're like, oh, yeah, right. Okay. I think the movie's kind of based on this one crime, but also there's a lot of other crimes. And also it's about the city of Los Angeles in the 50s
And the
corruption
cops.
and injustice and the characters of the cops. There's
Yeah.
so much in this movie. It's so awesome.
There's a lot going on.
And then
Yeah.
Guy Pearce at the end will wrap it all up for you in about a 2-minute sort of
Right.
speech.
The
there.
ending we can talk about. It's a little disappointing, but
It's okay.
yeah,
But
I mean,
he at least goes over all the points for you. But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wrap it right up. That's true. It did wrap up like a little.
I mean, spoilers, I guess, right here. But once I saw Russell Crowe get shot in the head, and then it cuts to him being alive, I'm like, no,
I
he's not
know,
alive.
yeah.
He is
He's
not
not
alive.
alive. No way is he
you don't-
alive.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was dumb.
agree.
I
It's
thought
like-
that Guy Pearce's character, and this is just I think the ending is like the most negative part, but it doesn't really even matter that much. But the fact that he learns to kind of work with all the corrupt people by the end, I don't really like that. It's not very satisfying,
right.
especially because he's smarter than everyone else to the point where he's predicting while he's in like a soundproof box what they're talking about because he knows exactly what he's doing. Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
When he mentions the word hero, and you're like, wait, how did he know that? And he's
How
like,
do you know that? 'Cause
oh,
he's
Guy
so
Pearce,
smart.
he's so
He's
smart.
wicked
He
smart.
knows you're talking about needing a hero. Like he has a whole plan. And you're like, wow. But then
Right.
he doesn't go against them and like uncover them. He's just like,
Yeah.
I'm
He's
gonna
like,
use
we're
them because they're
each
using
other.
me for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Dude, these guys are murderers. And like,
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, this isn't. Yeah, that's fair.
but I mean, the way the plot develops, the characters, I really like it how in the beginning it seems like they're going to be like, oh, these are all stereotypical. This guy's the good guy. This guy's the bad guy. But as the movie progresses, they're all very morally gray. And even though it does that, the characters retain like their individuality. You know what I mean? Like it's not like they all lose their own characters because they all live in the middle somewhere in terms of what they're willing to do their job well or to live with themselves and all that type of stuff. It's pretty cool because I don't think a lot of movies try to do that. It seems like it would be very hard to realistically portray characters like this.
Yeah, I like too how that. I think this is said somewhere in probably the only thing I read on this was the Wikipedia page. But the idea is that you see these guys all three at first, and they're all not likable at
Right.
first.
Yeah.
Like you see the worst parts of all of them, and then it backtracks sort of from there, and that's kind of neat the way that works.
Yeah. And there are a couple of lines and things like that where I'm just like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. Like Guy Pearce, everyone already hates him, but he's going to go against every cop. And the guy's like, are you sure you want the entire department to hate you? It's like, this is the guy who got locked up in the previous part because he was the only person trying to break up a fight in a jail cell. So they already don't like him.
Yeah.
They pushed him in a
That's
jail
true.
cell. Like, what does he have to
left?
lose?
There's nowhere else to go. Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, that doesn't necessarily work, but I see kind of what they're going for. They're trying to add some weight.
He's going to like actively do this now, as opposed to like he was just doing there. That was his job. They push him aside. He wasn't stopping them
He
necessarily.
didn't
They made it
respect
so he
him
couldn't.
at all.
Yeah.
He's like the commanding officer, and they threw him in a prison cell.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a little bit like that, and I think one of the things, just comparing this to like the other noir movies we watched on this list, speaking of the names and just like the storyline, the other ones are fun, and it's fun to go through them. Sometimes, like the good ones, it's fun to go through. Like the Maltese Falcon, there's fun parts, but you can't. I'm pretty sure it's impossible to follow the plot in those movies. And this movie is pretty twisty and turny with a bunch of names and stuff, but it's linear. Like it all makes sense. The motivations are always there. Even though you might be confused at one point, it kind of like it holds information back and gives it to you later, which like switches things for you in your head, which is really fun. Especially because I barely remember this movie from 20 years ago.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, when they shot Spacey, I'm like, holy shit, Spacey dies in this? No.
Yeah, that surprised me too. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, that was a shock. The way they did it, it's no shrills. Like,
yeah.
It's
like, did you tell anybody?
There was
no,
quite a
bang.
few of those moments, huh?
Yeah.
Just like, oh shit.
I like the
Christ,
sort of the plot device of even though it seemed really silly at first, it still seems kind of silly when you think about it, but I still kind of like the plot device of the crazy made up name. And how Kevin Spacey's
dude, that
character
worked
uses
perfectly.
that. Oh no, it worked really well. It's just sort of silly. Like,
is it?
I mean, I kind of thought so. It's like, I made up a name that's all the guys that didn't get away with it, that got away with it rather. And
I don't know. If you're thinking about something every day, you might as well put a name to it.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, then that plot device of him saying it beforehand and knowing would get him caught. Oh man, so good.
Oh no, that works. No, I totally like how it works. It just sort of seemed hokey for some reason to me. It's like, really, you name it? I don't know.
But if you have an imaginary friend, John, you name it. You don't just say,
I know,
the guy that I can't
imaginary
describe.
friend.
Yeah.
The imaginary friend that murdered his father, was it, or what was
Murdered
it?
his father. Stabbed him.
Yeah.
He was like a purse snatcher or whatever. Stabbed him randomly.
That's kind of rough if you have an imaginary friend who's your father's murderer. I mean, normally because they kind of are always there and they always follow you around, and it's just sort of a bummer to have that as your imaginary friend. You don't normally think that you're kind of a loser if that's your imaginary friend. Why not have like an imaginary friend who's like fun?
You're a loser when you have no friends. An imaginary friend that is also scary and sucks.
Yes,
and shitty is ridiculous. Yeah.
Hi, I'm your imaginary friend. I killed your father. Oh man, that's going to be about 5 until I grow out of you, man. This is going to be 5 years of misery.
Yeah. And possibly 30 years in a mental institution afterwards.
Yeah. Anyway, so
I think I liked all the characters in this movie. I understood what they were going for. Kim Basinger character she's supposed to be the way she is, but I couldn't help but kind of not like what they were portraying. Do you know what I mean? It's weird because she's supposed to be, she's a prostitute. She's supposed to be like old Hollywood. She's sleeping with all the guys to get them to be pissed off at each other. And yet she's somewhat sympathetic for some reason, even though she's not a good person. She does things. I mean, I don't know. Is she not a good person? She does things for everybody. Does things for money.
She a good person, and
she does things. Well, she has a weird way of thinking, like what's okay to do in order to like help situations.
Yeah, I guess so.
She has a moral compass. It's a little off from everybody else.
Yeah. I mean, everyone is kind of bad because even the Guy Pearce character lies to that guy practicing boxing to get some information, and at the end he shoots the guy in the back, which is like the worst thing he could do apparently.
That guy's fuck him. I mean, Jesus Christ, that guy's such a prick.
It didn't seem like we showed much of her character, and we're supposed to just like her because she's pretty. And I don't know.
I didn't like it how she.
I didn't like her.
Yeah, I mean,
well,
because she was like pretty or something. I didn't like. You know?
I don't know. I didn't say we're supposed. I don't know. That's like they didn't bother to like show more of her great, to sort of help us sympathize with her. I don't think compared to the other three characters.
I think it might have made her seem a little shallow because she spouts off all the reasons she likes Russell Crowe's character, but we never hear beyond she looks like a movie star why she's any good. Why he's spending time screwing her.
Yeah,
maybe that's it.
But yeah, I mean, you're getting at I thought that was also like when she sleeps with Guy's character. It's like it seems like that happened because it has to happen, so then they can fight later.
Yeah, I put like a big why are you doing this, Guy Pearce?
Yeah, exactly. It's
and
like,
also, it didn't seem to lead up to that. They seemed like they were mad at each other, and then Guy just like hopped on her. She's like, "All right, here we go. I'm down too."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, oh right, we got to do this so you guys can get mad at each other and then work together. So let's go.
And boom, Danny DeVito's in the closet. Guess what?
Yeah.
I mean, Danny DeVito's the same old Danny DeVito, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be Danny DeVito any movie.
That's
Here
true.
he is.
But Sleazy Reporter, he does that well.
He does. Good casting there.
I liked his narration at the very beginning of the movie. It's a great way to kick it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you thought he would be a much more important character, but he never really developed too much.
Nope.
Like they didn't have much. And in screen time, I mean, you don't see him as the movie goes on, you lose more and more of DeVito.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. He's just you see him, and it's sort of interesting because he's prominent right at the beginning, and then he just kind of becomes.
Right,
so
he
you
fades
think
in.
that he might be pretty like a pretty important character, but nope.
Nope.
Well, I mean, plot wise he is, but screen time wise he's not.
But screen time wise, but you're like. Because honestly, when I first started, I was like, "Oh, we have to watch a lot of Danny DeVito." Jesus Christ, I don't know. And
I mean, I like him, but I don't love him.
Yeah, right. I don't want to see a ton of him. I mean, look at him; he's tiny. What am I looking at here?
Way, apparently.
Yeah, right. I don't want to look at this guy all day. And plus, his voice is just like it's so like clown like. You know what I mean? He just fucking talks like Danny DeVito. You know, you can't even take him serious, especially after seeing him on.
It's Always Sunny.
You know, it's always sunny.
And I was expecting him to crush like beers against his head in this.
I know. I couldn't even take it seriously. And thank God this came out prior to that for him, I guess. But
dude, he's not looking too much different than he did 20 years ago. So that's a good thing.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
Which is
He's
good.
been out there in LA just fucking, being healthy and.
Whereas Russell Crowe, was very svelte in this
and
movie.
how about Russell Crowe? Huh? He can really. He's that South Park about him fighting around the world. I think that mostly comes from this movie.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just that's like the reference point of like, look at him. He just
He
fights. He's always
so
pissed.
young though. Yeah, he looks so young.
Yeah, Guy Pearce does too.
Yeah.
But he changed quickly.
Yeah, they do.
He did.
Yeah. Man, yeah, it's funny that end part there when they, shake hands or whatever.
Yeah,
I was just like, oh, what a moment. What a stupid moment.
Yeah.
it was. He should have been dead, and dead would have made more sense for the film.
Well, what I want to know is what was the IV thing doing to the face?
Pumping milk into his mouth because he couldn't open his mouth.
He got shot in the face. So.
I was seriously sitting there like, what does that thing actually do?
It means
I've
he
never
was
seen that
seriously
before.
hurt, TC, because he was shot in the face and should be dead.
But,
that's about as far as I got.
What's the practical use of that thing?
Well, what it
on
is,
your
TC,
face?
is it's a windpipe to a slide whistle, so you can kind of express yourself through slide whistle.
Right. So he's breathing through
He's
the side of
hungry.
his cheek now.
Yeah.
He's like,
Oh, he's sad
Feeling
now.
sad today.
yeah, just poor Russell. Uh-oh, he's going to get mad. Here he is. That's his whistle. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
he is something else, Russell Crowe.
He is. Yeah, he didn't drink during this movie.
Oh, is that why he was so amped
That's
up?
why he was angry.
I guess so. Yeah, he said it was the most
pretty good.
painful period of his life.
Because he didn't drink.
Because
Look,
he
I didn't
couldn't
have to-
drink.
They wouldn't let me drink, and I was ready to fucking kill everyone.
Yeah.
They were like, "That's exactly what we want."
So I guess he drinks all the time. That's what I got out of that quote.
I was going to say, is that what he did? He just quit drinking, but just for the movie? So
Just
there
for
were
the
2
movie,
weeks-
because his character didn't drink, and the director was like, "You shouldn't drink either."
Oh,
So then he
wow.
didn't. Then he's like, "Oh, I gotta drink. I'm Australian."
I ain't drink. I need a drink. Drink.
Fine.
Drink.
I just won't breathe either. God.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the gist of it for me. What did you guys think?
I mean, you pretty much said you gave a pretty in-depth review there, so I don't really
Yeah.
have too much else other than that. I mean, it was funny watching all these guys so young.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what's
true.
The guy from Memento there, I'm like, geez, how does he even shave like that? How does he get the fucking thing so smooth?
Yeah, how does he get the
His
dimple
face
in the
is so
cheek?
smooth. Everything is so smooth.
He must like push his cheek out with his
He gets
tongue just to shave
waxed.
that.
Yeah, like who's like someone's doing that for him, right? Because
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
fucking cutting the shit out of my face at some point.
Yeah.
So I haven't shaved like that in a while. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, they were just so baby faced, all of them. I guess I don't think like that. They're not. That's not what they look like in my head. So
Right. This is their Guy Pearce's
know.
and Russell Crowe's like first big movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah,
The studio
'cause
didn't
he
want
was
them
in-
because they were from Australia and they didn't have guaranteed good, American accents. Plus, they were unknown.
Mhm.
Did you notice Lloyd Braun in there, TC?
let's see, Lloyd Braun. Which one was that?
Lloyd Braun. He was the host or the star of that TV show that Kevin Spacey worked on.
No.
But who was Lloyd Braun
Right,
anyway?
Lloyd Braun,
right.
George.
What do you mean, Lloyd
How
Braun
many
from
computers have
Seinfeld?
you sold today, Lloyd? 19 computers, Mr. Costanza.
See, George, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
You know Seinfeld, Lloyd Braun, John?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
know
know
Lloyd
him
Braun?
from Seinfeld. No.
Yeah. Lloyd Braun brings in Lloyd Braun. That's some good shit.
I saw him and I was like,
Braun
that's
loses
Lloyd Braun.
glasses.
I didn't know he did anything else.
Yeah. I saw him and I said, oh, Jesus, they got Lloyd Braun. I
I know.
I don't know if it connected for me, honestly. It didn't. I think I recognized him and didn't think much of it because the movie was, I don't know, I was paying attention for once. I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, this movie has 80 speaking roles in it.
Holy
Ooh.
shit.
That's a lot.
Maybe.
I have
You
no
got,
idea.
a brief appearance by young Simon Baker.
Who's
who
that?
was- I don't know if you ever saw The Mentalist. It was a
No.
popular show at one
Oh, yeah.
point on TV.
Yeah.
He was the guy that got killed after being with the senator or whoever.
He was the James Dean looking guy.
Yep. That was Simon Baker.
So is he famous now?
The Mentalist was relatively popular for a while.
Yes, it was.
Wow. He doesn't look the same at all in these pictures. But he was supposed to be James Dean, right? They never touched on that.
Oh, really? James Dean?
Oh, I don't know.
Right?
Is that really what
Really?
you think?
I don't know
I
because
thought
he was being
just like
No shit.
he was being hired by
Yeah.
the same people that did the celebrity lookalike thing, and I thought he kind of looked like James Dean.
Oh, I thought he was. They were just a separate side plot that he was just a boy toy kind of guy, wanting to be an actor, and they were using that against him. But I didn't know that they were grooming him to be look like a male star. So that's interesting.
I thought the entire industry was based on people who look like other people.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah,
That's, right.
Have you guys looked up what Lana Turner and Veronica Lake look like?
no, are they really?
No.
Spitting
Did-
images.
Yeah.
Really,
really?
really close. Like Kim Basinger
Oh, shit.
looks exactly like Veronica Lake, and the woman who looks
Wow.
like Lana Turner is a little less so, but still pretty good. That scene was pretty
Cool.
funny when he's like
Yeah,
a
that is,
hooker that gets cut to look like Lana Turner, still a hooker, and the guy's like, "That's Lana Turner." What? That's really Lana Turner.
That was good stuff.
John, what did you think? You want a little go
I
time there?
We've covered most of it. I mean, I think that I enjoyed the movie. This movie, just sort of reading up on the background, there was this amazing attention to detail and tons of rehearsal and all kinds of meticulous planning and whatnot. I didn't really get any of that watching it now. I mean, I enjoyed watching it, but I didn't really. I was like, wow, this is like some spectacular in terms of like the research that they did or how they tried to recreate the era and how they tried to fit the actors in the era and all of that. I mean, maybe it just happened so smoothly that it's done so well that I don't even notice. But I was sort of surprised reading up like how hard, like how much they rehearsed and how much research they did and how hard they worked on it. So
You're surprised,
that was
really?
sort of like, yeah, I
There's-
was surprised because
There's so many
yeah.
period piece elements with like cars and costumes and extras and things like that, like real locations in LA.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. Just watching it, maybe it was because I was focused on the characters and the movie just moves so fast that I didn't like take all that in. Maybe it'd be better to see on a big screen, in the theater. But yeah, and this is our first Kevin Spacey film, knowing all of those
Weirdly,
accusations.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's in a bunch more like higher up, but
yeah.
I feel like I haven't
He was
seen him in a while.
Nice.
He was a smallish
Great.
part in this too, so it's like, okay, whatever. He didn't have a huge role.
No.
I mean,
But
relatively
like
large.
smarmy, smug prick. He played that well.
Yeah.
Yeah, did that well.
And eventually likable.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But his own, I mean, that death scene was pretty striking.
The
Yeah.
I thought the scene where Guy Pearce was doing the interrogation of the the 3 guys who got picked up falsely for the Night Owl murders was awesome. I'd never seen anything like that where they use a little audio, like they drop the audio into the other interrogation
right, so the other
rooms.
people hear what they're doing.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
That was really cool. Like just
I
the
wonder if
editing
that
of
ever actually happens.
I did,
Yeah, I don't know. If it goes, yeah, right.
He timed it out pretty good. And I love seeing an adult
Yeah.
man just cry like a 4-year-old. That's my favorite thing in the world.
Okay. How
Nice.
come?
Okay.
Seems strange. Yeah,
If I could tell you, I
interesting
would need
issue.
therapy. But
That's right. Yeah. A doctor says I'm not that weird, you know?
he wants me to keep coming back.
He says you should. You should keep coming back.
I didn't understand whether or not the James Dean guy, the guy from The Mentalist or whatever, they said he got murdered, but when I saw him dead, I thought he killed himself.
Oh, no, I thought he was murdered.
I thought he was murdered. I
It
thought
looked like he killed himself.
yeah, because his eyes were like open and looked like he didn't care, right? That's what I thought.
Well, wait a minute. When you're dead,
Well,
I
they
don't think you
staged
have
him,
much
I
of an
guess.
expression. I think I don't get it there. What do you mean? Like, sorry, like, I don't know that you wear an expression when you're dead that it has some indication to how you were feeling when you died.
You know, you
Yeah.
have an expression.
I don't think so. I think
You think
it's just-
everyone's face goes to calm after they die? I don't think so.
imagine it goes
If you're
slack.
dying against your will and you're dying when you're resisting, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some like muscles in your face and neck that aren't totally relaxed.
Just twitching.
Well,
Yeah.
if you're just like, I don't know how he died, but I don't know. I don't know about this. So, but I didn't, when someone's dead.
I do
just
not
sort
know
of, like,
about
saw
this.
the
Do
blood,
not
yeah.
investigate me.
Yeah.
So if I say
Well,
something
yeah.
totally accurate and a
Yep,
good idea,
That's
it's
right.
not me.
Yep, exactly. I should just
Right.
probably just stop talking right there. No, I didn't really think about that because I just saw the blood and it's just like, yeah, of course he was killed.
I thought it was because it didn't seem like he wanted to do the prostitution, the gay
He'd
prostitution
make a great
stuff.
CSI guy. No, but he doesn't look like he was upset.
Does he look
Look
sad?
at him.
No,
Does he look
he's
sad?
probably wanted
You're
it.
not sad, are you? Would you? Oh wait, you are sad. Are you sad?
Oh, you sad. Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
I don't see any teardrops coming down off of his eyes.
Yeah,
so
but you don't really actually look
If
sad.
he was really
You sure you're
sad, he'd be crying, right? I don't hear any crying.
Is it just because you can't act at the moment? Okay.
do you guys notice that Roman Holiday was in this movie?
No, was it playing like in the
It was
background
playing.
somewhere?
Yeah.
No,
I'm surprised you didn't notice
Damn-
that. They went to
Damn
the
it, I'm annoyed.
when Russell Crowe and Kim Basinger went to the theater, and she was like, it was like the one time she was out of the house. Basically, she was all dressed up and stuff. They were watching Roman Holiday, and you could see a bunch of it. It was when what's her name was going around Rome on the little Vespa thing, taking a little nap during that part. John,
Yep, a little bit.
a little bit of a nap. That's fine.
I was too. I was just kind of, not paying attention at all there. Whoopsie.
Did either of you think when he shoved the shotgun into the elevator door and pulled the trigger and it
Then he was
opened
going
up?
to shoot? Oh, I knew he was going to hit him.
Oh, did you know that?
I
Did
knew
you
he
think
was.
that it was going to be somebody else, like an innocent
Yeah, I
person?
thought he seemed
Oh,
so
no,
sh-
I'm not. 'Cause he ran in. He was
yeah.
the only one. Didn't have one shot where it showed the guy getting in. He was the only one getting in.
But
And he was
it
pressing
showed in the
button.
beginning a guy getting out of the elevator while they were approaching the apartment. So it was like
So,
other people.
As you
Yeah.
said, so out. No.
One other person. They
as
established
you
that.
just said, someone came out. Yeah, right. And
I
one
thought he
went
had like
in.
shot a little girl or something
So-
like that.
Guy looked so upset and disturbed, and they focused on his face for a while. That
I
that it
figured
made
there
me
was
think-
no
It
way.
made me think that something happened really bad. That he
I
shot
thought
some
it was
innocent
just
or
that,
something.
like, he was starting to lose his mind.
Oh,
He was starting to get, that was the moment when he became one of them.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. The plot point where the rape victim, who was I think was she Mexican? Is that what she said?
yeah.
And she,
I don't remember.
well, she wasn't white. Basically, that was the point of it. So she had to lie about the people that raped her
Right,
because
saying that they were murderers.
Murderers
so
of
they
white
would have some
people, too.
justice. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I thought, I mean, it's kind of like giving herself justice, but then letting a bunch of other murderers get away.
Yeah.
She's helping the actual
That-
like
that doesn't-
6-person murderer get away, even though the
Yeah.
people who raped her deserve punishment too and might not have gotten it if she didn't lie, but she did to get the justice.
Did. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like she should have not lied.
I agree.
That's
doesn't
nothing.
seem- it doesn't, it's not very necessarily a reasonable thing, but it's like, well, some terrible things happened to her, so we'll give her a pass.
Right.
I kind of laughed when Russell Crowe was in bed with Kim Basinger and they were having a little pillow talk, and Russell Crowe out of nowhere talked about how his mom got beat to death with a pipe in front of him.
Oh, did that come from left field?
Kind of. I
Yeah.
mean, what they're trying to it's like post-sex pillow talk, and he's like, I watched my mom get beat to death with a pipe. And she's like, oh my God.
Oh, but the conversation led up to that somehow, and I don't remember how it led up to that. It wasn't
She said
just
something
out
like,
of,
you don't have to tell me. And he's like, I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah, I'm
Make
gonna
it
tell
very
you.
uncomfortable.
And also, I'm going to put further shades of gray onto my character right now, so that you can sympathize with me a little more.
There you go.
Here we go.
Here's a question about the plot. When Russell Crowe goes into that, I guess it was the coroner's office, when he's asking a bunch of questions, and he asks who the two females were there after he figured out who his ex-partner was. He was there to see a girl, and he figured, he must be seeing one of the two girls that got murdered. And then he asked the coroner what their names of the girls were. And then he made the connection of one of the girls' names with the person that he had seen the day before or whatever. But my question is, didn't he have the list of the names of the people that got murdered, from the day the murders happened? Is that kind of too confusing of a question? I mean,
Yes, try again.
sorry. So there is a scene where Russell Crowe goes to the coroner's office, and
Thinking the
he's
same
getting
thing.
information from the coroner, and all the coroner does is list off the names of the girls that were murdered in the 6-person Night Owl murder. And
Right.
that flicks a switch in Russell Crowe's head, and he's like,
The woman's
the
name.
woman's name
Yeah.
is the person I'm looking
Yeah.
for. And you're like, dude, you
Right.
had the list of names before. Everybody did, because you're a cop.
But I thought someone had a conversation that, I don't know. I thought there was something else that brought up that name that was before that. It was more recent. I don't know.
Yeah, I had lost the thread of the plot there. Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's a good, I don't know. I don't know either.
Okay, yeah, because I was just confused. I could be just missing something, but I mean, I was just like, wait a minute, why did that help him? He already had that information. Okay, I guess they have to move the plot along
Right.
somehow.
Yeah.
But
Right.
did either of you think the mother of that the nose job / redheaded girl was a murderer?
No.
No.
You didn't think she was acting suspicious when she's like, "Don't move that! Get out of my house,
So
Joe."
I like murder her husband. Was that what it was? Who it was under there? Who was it?
Well, I
under
thought
there?
she was covering
Daughter?
the body, because when
Oh.
she was like, "Oh, it's just dead rats."
I
Don't
think
go
she
out there."
was. She was.
She
She
seemed
didn't find
legit
nothing there
surprised,
back
though.
there. It was just rodents.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, she was acting suspiciously about it.
I thought she just
so-
knew there was a body there. I don't know if she was the murderer.
But why would she be okay with the body there?
Right, and also
'Cause-
she seemed like
Does
when he
anybody
came
know whose
out,
bo-
she was
Do we know
totally
whose
calm.
body that was?
It was Meeks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Meeks was the guy that was the ex-cop that came out that Russell Crowe roughed up when the blonde
Right.
girl and the nose job girl were in the car
right,
at the beginning.
Right, man.
Right, right.
See, this movie, I
So-
just lost. I just kind of
Yeah.
went with it, and there's a fair amount of complexity. That's I've forgotten entirely about that. When you put it that way, it's there's a dead guy under her house.
House-
This should have
she
bothered
knows it.
her.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
she knows
right.
it. How did that work out? It's okay, so there's gonna be a dead guy there. It's gonna smell for I don't know weeks.
As long as you put a towel under that door right there, you're good.
yeah.
Don't worry,
You
just try
saw
that. You'll be fine. Doesn't smell
Wall-to-wall
that bad.
carpeting on all the hardwood floors in your house, then,
Yeah,
that'll
yeah,
work
yeah,
too.
yeah. We'll give you some insights. Just like that all day. You don't mind.
Do you think anybody, this might be a gross question, but if you were being interrogated and someone had your balls in their fists and they were squeezing, would you be able to answer the questions while that was happening?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I would just be, I'd be out of my mind in pain. It would not be a coherent.
This
It's not a big good
gonna
time.
work.
Stop it! Oh, stop it!
Let's fuck it.
I want to ask you some questions. Oh my God, stop it! Just fucking stop it!
Just fuck
Ow,
it.
ow, 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 ow.
And then- that's what it would be. That's what it would be, John. Yeah. Ow, 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 ow. No. Right? Dude, I swear to God, they put that in the movies all the time because every one of us is scared that one day we're just going to be taken into a room and tied to a chair and tortured.
It's kind of
For-
hard to do that
for
through
anything.
pants, It's,
For
it's
anything,
kinda,
like-
I don't know how you
Yeah.
you go and get such a good grab on them. I don't know. Maybe if you're wearing dress pants or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
Not these days. Everyone's got the skinny jeans. You really have to take a minute to get a good grip in there.
Yeah, you'll be
That's
like,
true.
"Well, wait a minute, what are you trying to do, man? Are you fondling me? No, I'm going to torture you
Give me
by
a minute.
grabbing your balls.
Give me a
Would
minute.
you
Hey,
just
man,
sit
this
still?"
isn't cool, man. You're trying to touch me. I know it.
Yeah, no, it keeps slipping off. It's not my. I'm not trying to stroke you. I'm trying to torture you. It's,
How come you are? What the fuck is this? Yeah.
How do you know I don't like that? I might like that even more than the other one.
We're over in the valley, baby.
Did you guys pick up on that? I mentioned the hero thing when he was behind glass earlier. Did you pick up on that quickly?
Not quickly.
No.
I didn't pick up that he'd sort of like guessed what they were saying. I just kind of went along with it, like thinking he overheard.
How?
Right. I didn't even. I must have missed it really because I wasn't.
It was
paying
not for
attention
me
then.
to question how, Denny. It was for me to just go along with the plot.
So I
I
think
figured it. Yeah, I
Sorry.
figured it was just one of those movie things that like straight up, you're just supposed to like let it go. I didn't know that it was supposed to mean something, but that's
Yeah.
why I never know how.
it
to
might not
critique
mean
movies.
anything, but I mean, I was just sitting
Yeah.
there like, wait a minute. Are they really trying to say that he was this smart? Is that what they're trying to say? I don't know if this movie is that dumb. And then like the rest of the ending happened. I was like, all right, that's probably what happened. The end of this movie is pretty
Yeah.
stupid.
It's just dumb. Yeah, right.
yeah, so they like, why did they stash the body under the house? What a stupid
Yeah, what
place
was that
to stash
about?
the body. I'm stuck on this. They carried this large bundle into her backyard. So they basically just put a body under the house. That's not how you hide a body.
Bury it or something,
That's
right?
not going to work, right? Yeah. What are you supposed to? It's noir. You're supposed to like stick it in cement and throw it in the river or something. That's what you're supposed to do in the detective movies. But yeah, so you put it under a house. Yeah, what'd you do? What'd you get rid of the body? Yeah, we put it under a house. You what?
Whose house?
You put it in.
My mom's house. She's got a very sensitive nose.
Yeah.
That's a good point because I mean, so he was a part of the threesome with like the Dudley guy, and he was Meeks, and then there was the fat ex partner. Who was the other guy? There was a third guy. He was the ex partner, right? Who got fired, and then he was the one who was murdered at the Night Owl, and then it was the police chief, and then it was Meeks, the ex cop. Those are the three guys, and they murdered. Dudley killed those two guys. You want to try to recreate this? Dudley killed those two guys because they too stole 25 pounds of heroin from a deal that Dudley was supposed to be taking over because Dudley was the
Yeah.
boss guy.
When you start to take apart the whole plot, it's just like, I don't know.
I think it all makes sense. I think I have like a
Yeah.
pretty good strand in my head, and
Yeah, okay.
I'm just surprised that the Dudley guy, like maybe thinking about it even more, I'm surprised Dudley hasn't gotten caught by anybody yet, and like everybody else, you know, like the politician guy when they hang him out the window, they
Yeah.
kind of assume that he's not going to tell anybody. Is that the assumption there? Because they were running around. And they assumed at least that he wasn't going to tell anybody, even though they like threw him out the window almost. But they were running around doing the same thing, and they got calls from each other through the police radios saying they should meet each other at a certain location, which seems like they should probably have just figured out a location beforehand to meet up later before they split up to be safe. But they seemed surprised when they were set up. So they must have been assuming that the guy wasn't going to tell anybody, which is stupid because why wouldn't that guy tell anybody?
Now, was Dudley trying to set them up after like he shoots Spacey's character? Then he's like saying that the department's going to like go out there. All cases are suspended until Jack's killer is found.
Right.
So they were set. Was Dudley then setting it up that it would be Guy Pearce's character that was the murderer?
I don't think so. I think actually, that's a good question there. So maybe the politician didn't say anything, but that was a part of his plan. But if he was going to set up Guy Pearce, why would he have brought Russell Crowe with him? Because maybe Russell Crowe is getting a little weak. Was that part of that too?
Maybe I don't know. I don't know what was going on there.
That's good. That's interesting. Adds another layer of possibility there, I guess.
Yeah.
Fun. You guys have anything else in the plot of this movie?
No, but it looks like because they got the calls to get them together in this location to come after him.
Right.
So I bet they were setting them up. They're
But don't
going to
you-
like shoot him dead, and then somehow you'd think they maybe had some kind of plan to pin the murder on Guy.
Right. But then also, they think
But
it's
they knew
possible
Russell.
that
Maybe they knew Russell was asking questions too. Like they were going to get rid of both of them because they knew Crowe had been like poking around.
But don't you think that the Dudley character didn't know that Pierce was asking questions when he dropped? Did you think Dudley picked up on something when he dropped the whatever that fake name was? The fuck was that fake name?
that I don't know. No, what was it? It was
Rollo Tomasi or something like that.
Rollo Tomasi, yeah.
Rollo Tomasi.
But he seemed to play it off pretty good. He reacted fairly quickly for figuring out that his fucking boss was a murderer of his friend.
Yeah.
They're like, you did it, you son of a bitch. Start strangling him, but his arms are really freaking long because that guy's like 10 feet tall. And he choked me out in the middle of the precinct.
Boyo.
Yeah. Oh, he's a tall little boyo there. He's the king of boyos.
He's a tall little boyo there. Yeah.
You better believe he's drinking the eggnog tonight, Johnny.
You better
boyo.
believe it's eggnog with the whiskey for the boyo tonight. That's right.
You guys want to hear who's in the commentary track?
Sure.
Oh, no, who?
Russell
What boyo
Crowe,
was
Guy
that?
Pearce, Kim Basinger,
course.
Kevin Spacey, James Cromwell,
The whole
David
cast?
Stratham, Danny DeVito, James McElroy, Brian Hedlund, Brian Honus, Director of Photography, Dante Spinoni, Producer, Gian Opwilla, Custom Designer, Ruth Myers, Producer, Michael Nathanson, Film Critic, Andrew Saris, and more.
They fit all those people in a room.
Nice. Holy cow.
It wasn't that kind of commentary. It
was it nonstop talking?
No, weirdly not. It was, I think they sat everyone down to do their own commentary, and then they just
Edited together?
edited it together.
Oh.
Wow.
And it didn't have anything to do with the plot on the screen. They all were just, I mean, it was a pretty, if you like these actors and you like commentaries and you're okay with listening to people blow smoke up their own ass, then
Yep.
you
Oh, God, yeah.
would like this commentary a lot.
Love this commentary.
And even if you don't like listening to these people blow smoke into their ass, it wasn't bad. But I mean, oh man, sometimes when these people talk, I can't fucking stand it. Like,
Can you imagine that, like, that's what they're like in regular life?
No, I cannot stand it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Dude, just
You
like,
wonder why I want to move back to Boston.
yeah. But just,
Yeah.
oh man, I don't even want to, I mean, you guys have heard me talk about it before. You know the kind of stuff that they say. They pretty much just pat themselves on the back the entire time and try to make themselves seem like, well, of course it was great because I was in it, you know, without saying so
Right,
many
yeah.
words.
I don't even have to, I just show up and the Herculean effort is underway, my friend.
Yeah, that was the worst part. But there was some fairly decent commentary trivia in there, I would say. But the film critic was the weirdest one. Why would you have a film critic with all these famous people in here?
Yeah, that's a little strange.
Yeah, he didn't even work on the movie. He's just some guy that reviews movies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
James McElroy wrote the book, LA Confidential. The book takes place over 8 years, and it has many more characters in it. But he really liked how this movie condensed down all the characters in the book and the timeline, and still kept the feeling of like noir, crazy twists and names and people. You know what I mean? Like moving around to different locations and all that stuff. He was a huge fan. When he was younger, his mother was killed, and there was no resolution, and that made him become a novelist.
Oh,
and he did a
wow.
bunch of murder novels that were very famous. He wrote The Black Dahlia, which is one of his most famous ones. This one, obviously, pretty famous.
Did he make up a name for his killer, mother's killer?
Rumple, no.
Anyway.
Spacey's role was the hardest to cast because he had the biggest arc. He went from most unlikable to least dislikable, I guess, in the eyes of the people casting. You can say a lot about this Curtis Hanson guy. He was a co-writer. He was a producer. He was the director. He was the guy who pitched the movie. He's the guy who told the cinematographer what to do. And he was also the casting director. So it was basically, I mean, everybody in the commentary at least threw him credit saying it was entirely Curtis's movie and he deserves like, you know, all the positive words given to it. So that's nice.
Wow.
Before
That's
they, you know,
cool.
Yeah.
start blowing smoke up their ass with the high-powered vacuum
But you'll
cleaner.
see here, I brushed my hair to the right this shot, and it just worked out perfectly with the way the lighting worked.
I made a good decision. I made the good decision of being a part of Curtis's movie.
I did this, right? Yeah, fuck off.
So TC, they had location scouters go around LA, and they ended up finding 60 locations in LA that were somewhat famous or noticeable that hadn't been changed since the 50s.
Wow.
So all of the locations, every single one of the locations in this movie that wasn't inside was an actual LA location that was not dressed up, with the exception of the hotel at the very end of the movie that they shot up.
That's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, because a lot of the homes that were built were still there, right?
Yeah. That theater apparently
Yeah.
is still there, that they had the
Yep.
theater drug busts. And
Yep.
yeah,
Mhm.
all the bigger
I noticed that
stuff
one.
is there.
I noticed that one. I'm like, oh, I know that one.
You've been
Yeah,
there
there's
before?
a bunch of stuff that I have not been there, but I've, heard of it, seen it, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Which
But,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out here. There's a lot of annoying stuff, and anyway.
I mean, we do a movie podcast and bitch about
Right,
the
yeah,
actors
sir.
and stuff, but these
Yeah.
movies are pretty good.
And,
Like what they
we
do.
wouldn't have the podcast without them. So
Exactly.
who the fuck are we?
Exactly. And we make all of our
Right.
money off this. It's life sustaining, so we need it. We
all
need
our
it.
money, It's
It
just
is
it's
necessary.
unbelievable. Yeah, that's right.
For us to
Yeah,
survive.
there's no boss per se. We just kind of make money, tons of money.
Okay,
Sure.
okay. Here, guys. Here, take a guess. If there was one person on the commentary track that was attacking the way the internet news system works in terms of their, it used to be that you needed 3 sources before you could report a story. Now it's you have one blogger making an accusation, and then all of a sudden a reputable news site is posting a story on it, and that's ruining the integrity of news and all that type of stuff. Who do you think it would be?
I think it would be Spacey.
Yeah.
TZ. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And
Easily.
this was recorded
Blowhard.
before his allegations. So he was
Right.
building a cement
He's like,
base.
I
for
just want to
him
let you guys
defending
know
himself.
that
Already he's
they're
like
like, if you read something
discrediting.
on a blog, it
Yeah,
might
let's
not
say
be
somebody
true.
were to accuse me or something.
If you got a guy from Nantucket that's just a drunk guy in a bar and he tells
Right.
people that somebody grabs him a stick and he doesn't want it, then you just can't believe that guy. You just can't
That's
do it.
right.
Yeah, but that was pretty weird because, of course it's Kevin. Of course it's you trying to take merit away from the way people are reporting stories these days. There were some true things that in this movie, like actual events in LA, the bloody Christmas, the beating up of the Mexican prisoners by a bunch of white cops in LA, that happens. Mickey Cohen was a real person that actually got arrested for tax evasion. He was put away for 10 years and he left a crime vacuum, which led to a lot of this stuff, basically.
Uh-huh.
The whole plot, the crime vacuum was real. Like a lot of the non-Mickey Cohen stuff, the actual characters and events of this movie didn't necessarily happen. But there was an LAPD goon squad who did exist during this vacuum that went around and captured other criminals coming from other cities, beating them up and threatening them and telling them to leave the city so the corrupt cops could run things in the power vacuum of LA during this time, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
And the only other true thing that I could find was that Lana Turner, in that scene where she's not the cut-up prostitute with that looks like Lana Turner, she is Lana Turner. The real Lana Turner actually dated a crime boss, like a popular in the newspaper crime dude for a while in Hollywood.
Huh.
Russell Crowe is not even 6 feet tall, believe it or not. And
Really?
his character
You wouldn't
in this
know that.
movie-
He looks
Yeah,
huge.
you wouldn't know that. He does look huge.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the biggest cop on the force. He's supposed to be like pushing 7 feet tall, according to the book.
So they just, shot him from,
Shot him low.
underneath and below.
But
yep.
also, what
Shot him
he
low.
did is he found a place to live for an undisclosed period of time where the doors were really short, the ceilings were really low, and everything was just really small. So he lived in there to make himself feel like a giant so he could be used to feeling bigger than he actually is for this role.
Okay.
It's
I'm
pretty
just gonna
funny.
let that go. Yeah, I'm gonna let
No,
that
dude,
one go.
that's pretty funny. I don't know. It's like,
That's
hey, I want a
pretty
tiny
crazy.
house. Wait, you're
Does
Russell
anybody have
Crowe.
a small house? I need to fight in it to feel big.
The torture these actors put themselves through for a
Oh my
perfect
god,
role.
it's just unbelievable. So
I mean,
much
honestly, that one is pretty funny. I like that one.
thought. Yeah.
Sure, Russell, go live in a tiny house. It'll make your performance
Yeah.
better, I'm
Hey,
sure.
whatever. man.
Hey,
You
it's,
can afford it,
whatever
it's
he's got to
okay.
do, the agent said. Yeah, sure, we rented him a tiny house. I don't fucking know. As long as it brings in the money.
It was Curtis Hanson's decision to make this movie look modern and not noir. I don't know if you guys noticed that, the noir movies we've seen have been heavy shadows, obviously a lot of black and white,
Yeah.
a lot of quick cuts, but this movie doesn't have that. It has naturalistic lighting. It's in color. There's no hard shadows, not even towards the end. It's pretty softly lit, even in that nighttime scene. So they did that consciously because they wanted to make it look more modern while still carrying over all of what they thought were the best parts of noir, which was the confusing story and the griminess of it all, basically.
Yeah. It's the darkness of the characters.
Yeah. Script was worked on for 2 years. There were 7 drafts. That's a long time. Crowe and
Yeah.
Pierce lived in LA for 2 months beforehand because they were both Australian and they needed to develop their American accents and get a feel for the city. They were very surprised. Pierce actually talked about one of the most interesting things that an actor talked about in the commentary was how long the audition process is in Hollywood, about how you go in for first audition, second audition, first screen test, second screen test, and how by the end of the screen testing part, when you still didn't have the role, they would have a full camera crew, full makeup crew, and they'd put you on to see what you would actually look like in the movie,
Wow.
as opposed to what he was used to, small Australian movies and television. They would just do an audition, you'd act a scene, and they would make a decision on you, and that was it.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah.
And he also
Cool.
mentioned something they also don't do in Australia is callbacks. there was a scene they needed an insert shot of Guy Pearce. He had like blood on his face. I think it was the elevator scene when like the elevator door opens.
It's a good shot.
They didn't have that shot, and that was filmed like months later. And he was, surprised that they could do that. It's like, hey, you got to come back in. He's like, wait a minute, I thought we were
you
done.
guys do that? We were done. Yeah,
No,
wow.
not done.
Hey,
Is the movie
no,
in theaters
sorry.
yet?
I don't know
Not
how you
done.
guys do it in the down under, but
You got to come
we
back if you
actually
want your
like
money.
to make movies here. Right, yeah. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, that's kind of cool info, right? He was just so new. He was so green to L.A., and it's glamour.
And now
It's glittering.
he's pretty famous still. He was in the
He
King's
is?
Speech
No,
recently.
I like him. I think he's great.
Yeah. Almost all of the interior sets were built in an abandoned Pacific Electric building close to downtown LA. Just a huge, like
Nice.
8-story, used to be utility building, and it was just completely emptied. So they went through and just built, I don't know how many
Stuff.
Stuff. They built sets,
Right.
set after set. They like painted the interiors, decorated each floor. So all the interiors were there, which is kind of sweet.
Isn't that
because they look
crazy?
pretty good. Yeah. The director, Curtis Hanson, was pushing for 3 leads. These 3 leads were in the books. The studio was like, we want 1 lead. 3 is way too many for a movie. And he's like, no, 3 leads.
Tough shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they took the budget way down. The budget went down to $35 million, which is pretty low for a movie of this scale. And it forced him to go with the 2 unknowns for, the Guy Pearce and the Russell Crowe character. But he says that, but then he also says he wanted to cast unknowns in those roles because he didn't want anybody to know where their characters were going. Because if you had like somebody you knew they're what they usually did, like if you cast Clint Eastwood in this movie, he'd be like
Right.
the hero that shot the guy at the end or whatever.
Yeah.
He didn't want that. So he changed his mind,
It's okay.
Huh.
Yeah. I think that's it. I was going to make fun of Kim Basinger's commentary track, but I don't think I'll do that.
Okay.
She used the word
Yeah,
awness.
she used the word what?
She was talking about how she liked being lit in the house, and she said it was like being enveloped in this awness.
Honest, huh?
Awe. Full of awe.
like that. Yeah, like that noise you make when you take a shit. Yeah, sure. Jesus Christ, these people.
Yeah.
God, they fart and they're like, hey guys, just wanted to let you know, past gas smells fantastic.
And it's not her. It's not just her that does this. I mean, every single one of these people is they all talk like they have the best grip on the English language possible,
Oh,
and that they're the
Shoot
smartest
me.
people in the world.
right.
But
they
they're actors.
well, right. And we have very low respect for them for some reason, even though it's hard work. Honestly, it is hard
It's because
work.
they
I
talk
could never do
themselves
it.
up. They
could
talk
never do
themselves
it,
up. They're not humble about, like, a lot of them aren't. Some
Right.
people are, but a lot of them
Right.
aren't. And that's just, you couldn't, no matter how good you were, if you talk about yourself like that, you don't fucking deserve it. Shut up.
Right. Can you imagine if you went in there and you go into your oncologist and then he's like, yeah, you should have seen how I took care of that cancer for Joe
Yeah.
over there.
It's the
Oh my
same
God,
thing.
it was fucking brutal. It was unbelievable. No one else could have done it the way I did it. And boy, he died anyway. But hey, I made it look fucking good. Am I right? I'm right. I'm right. I'm right. That's what it'd be like. And you'd be like, I need a new doctor. Okay. And that would be that. And that was so but we can't do that because we don't have, don't have any choice about who's on the screen. So,
Right.
And
we do pay for these people because they do look good and they do a good job.
Oh, yeah,
So,
right. We
yeah,
got to pay
there's
for the shit. The amount we pay. Fuck, man. Health
Yeah, it's a
insurance
little
would
ridiculous.
love to be that high.
Yeah. That's all I got for this one.
Very good.
You guys have any more thoughts on it?
No, I'm just glad I watched it. I remembered it being out a long time ago, and I don't think I ever really watched it or took anything in or whatever. I must have watched little bits and pieces of it and not realized it. Because a lot of it looked familiar, but I didn't recognize the story like one bit.
Yeah.
So it was good. I enjoyed it very much.
Would you put it in the top 250 though?
I would. I would.
Ooh.
Oh, ooh, surprise!
I would too.
Yeah.
Freaking
Ah.
Not too much like it.
no. And I think we might have a couple more noirs on here, but this is definitely the most entertaining and like,
Better than Chinatown.
oh, that's a good, oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
Ugh.
But we didn't say
That's a good
top
point.
2. We said
Yeah.
top 250.
I know.
So,
Yeah, I'd say this one is comparable. It's definitely better than like the Maltese Falcon or the Thin Man. Just because it's entertaining, the characters make sense, the plot is followable, the ending isn't terrible compared to some of those other ones, where it just completely falls apart at the end, even though it gets a little mushy towards the end. It's not that bad.
hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would have liked. I think maybe because of Chinatown, I would have liked a darker ending to this one.
And that would have been more fitting. That Crowe living. Partially just because it would have been more fitting, but also he got shot point blank in the face. Usually that means you're dead.
Right.
So, I mean,
I guess he did shoot him in the cheek. It must have just like exploded his teeth.
ricocheted off his cheeks of iron.
I mean, you saw his freaking chiseled jaw, right, dude? He would have survived.
Exactly. That's a chiseled jaw. You don't get it. You get shot in your chiseled jaw, and that bullet's gonna
That
ricochet.
just ricochets out, man. You're fine. You're not going to die.
Yeah. John, would you put it in the top 250?
Nah.
Why not? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't know. I was entertained by it, but I also just was. I don't know. The movie felt it was very produced. I just sort of I went along with it, and it just seems pretty slick, and I liked it, but I didn't really take anything away from it either, and I didn't really. I liked that the characters kind of gray characters, but I didn't necessarily see those characters as being real either. All the same, I saw them as being kind of like comic book style dark.
Yeah, I did too, and that's part of the noir, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. But I think that it just, so it just felt like for all the work that went into it and all, it just felt like light entertainment.
Really?
Huh.
Does that seem fair? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think the way that it takes on how it makes the moral character in the beginning someone who's not totally moral at the end through necessity says a lot about like not just LA for the time, but like people and how things work.
But it feels comic book like. It's even though it's darker. I don't know. It just didn't seem real, and it felt. Even though again I liked it and I didn't really object to it too much, it just felt contrived enough that I didn't feel like it was real in terms of the way the plot developed and all of that. But I'm just mincing words. I just like I don't want to put it in the top 250. I don't know why. I don't think it's bad. I'm glad I watched it again. So and I enjoyed watching it.
Nice.
So
That's acceptable. I'll take that.
Yeah.
We can move on now. I was gonna
Yeah,
keep
we
you guys
can.
for a
I'll
little
take
while.
it's okay. It's yeah. Be nice.
Oh, are you guys ready for this?
No.
What do we got?
We have the oldest movie on the list.
Fuck. I'm calling in sick.
You can't.
Fuck.
It is only 1 hour and 8 minutes long.
Oh, that's good. All right,
Yeah.
things to look it up.
Yeah. They didn't have that much film. I think it used up all the film in existence back in
Thank God
1921.
for that. Woo.
Yeah. Written and directed by Sir Charles Chaplin. This movie's called The Kid. The synopsis is, the tramp cares for an abandoned child, but events put that relationship in jeopardy.
Okay.
Oldest movie on the list. This is where the horse riding, the 3 seconds of horse riding footage meets Endgame, Avengers Endgame. This is the line where quality is measured on internet lists. This is where it begins, you guys.
Uh-huh.
You know? And that's important.
Okay.
It's important.
Wow.
That's all I got. All right. Thank you guys for listening.
Hey, Timmy, did you have thoughts?
Not really, John.
Okay. You've been quiet, Timmy. You okay?
I'm too tired.
Timmy, were you able to enjoy Spacey even though, all that stuff now going on with him?
No, Timmy was out acting. It's just so hard being an actor. I'm just tired. It's all, Daddy. I don't have any thoughts on that one. I'm just gonna say no comment.
Oh, you have
Yeah.
a local version of Book of Mormon in Worcester over there, Timmy?
Yeah, I was gonna say no comment. I'm gonna take another drink over here. Yeah, fuck yourself. How about that, huh?
Facebook and Twitter, Facebook app or podcast apps. You could give us a 5-star. You could give us a review. These are things that are available to you on the internet these days. Thank you for listening, and we'll watch the oldest one on the list next week.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right,
Later.
dudes.